What this woman did is either the most desperate thing a human being has ever done, or the most genius. I still cannot decide which. Now let me take you back to where it all started. She died on a Tuesday. The obituary ran in the local paper on Thursday morning. It described a loving daughter, a devoted wife, a woman who lit up every room she walked into. It was beautifully written. She had written every single word of it herself. And on Thursday morning when that obituary ran, she was sitting in a diner 3 miles away, drinking black coffee, reading it, and for the first time in 7 years, she was smiling. Her name was not Olivia, that is what I will call her, but every detail of what she did is real, documented, verified by investigators who pieced it together years later. Olivia grew up in Clarksville, Tennessee in the late 1970s, small town, population just over 12,000, the kind of place where the same families had lived for 4 generations and everybody knew everybody else's business. She was bright, warm, and fiercely independent, the kind of girl who had plans, who talked about leaving, about college, about seeing the world. She met him at 19. His name was Robert, he was 26, he drove a nice truck, he had a job at his father's construction company, he was charming in that specific way that only reveals itself as dangerous much later. They were married within a year. The plans disappeared quietly after that. Not all at once, nothing dramatic, just a slow and steady erosion of everything Olivia had been before she became Robert's wife. The college applications were never sent, the friendships faded one by one, the money became his, the car became his, the decisions became his. And Olivia became smaller and smaller inside a life built entirely around a man who needed to be the largest thing in it. She tried to leave 3 times. The first time she drove to her mother's house, her mother sat her down and said, "Olivia, marriage is hard for everyone, you have to try harder." She went back. The second time she called a shelter, they gave her a bed for 1 night and a list of resources and sent her back into the world with a pamphlet and a phone number that went to voicemail. She went back. The third time she got as far as the bus station in Nashville, she had $60 in her pocket and a change of clothes in a plastic bag. She sat there for 4 hours watching people come and go and realized she had nowhere to go and no one to go to. She went back. And something changed in her after that third time, not a breaking, more like a decision, quiet and cold and absolute. She was not going to run anymore, running had not worked, running meant being found. She was going to disappear. Completely, permanently, in a way that left no trail to follow because there was no person left to find. The plan took 8 months. She started with money, she skimmed cash from the grocery budget, $5 here, $10 there, never enough for Robert to notice. She kept it in a tampon box at the back of the bathroom cabinet, the one place she knew with absolute certainty he would never look. Over 8 months she accumulated just under $4,000. Then she began building her new identity. Through a contact at the shelter, a woman named Darlene who had quietly helped women disappear for years, Olivia learned about something investigators would later call the ghost identity method. You found the birth certificate of someone who had died young, before the age of 5, before digital records made cross-referencing easy, a child who had been born, registered, and then died before accumulating any other official documentation. With that birth certificate you could apply for a social security card. With the social security card you could get a state ID, with the state ID you could open a bank account, with the bank account you were a person. A completely new person, with a completely clean history, untraceable. Olivia became Margaret Ann Holloway, born September 12, 1961, died February 3, 1965, aged 3 years old. The real Margaret Ann Holloway had died of pneumonia before she learned to read. The new Margaret Ann Holloway had a bank account in Georgia, a rented room in Atlanta, and a job lined up at a diner. All of this was in place before Olivia made her move. The disappearance itself was almost elegant. On a Tuesday morning in October she drove to a bridge over the Cumberland River. She left Robert's car with the door open, her purse on the front seat, her wedding ring placed carefully on top. She had chosen that bridge deliberately, a stretch of river known for strong currents, a place where 2 people had drowned in the previous decade, a place where a body might never be recovered. She walked away, met Darlene's contact 3 miles away, and was on a bus to Atlanta before Robert had even realized she was gone. Robert reported her missing that evening. The police found the car the next morning. Given the location, given the purse, given the ring, they concluded within 72 hours that she had likely drowned. The death was ruled accidental. The obituary ran 2 days later. Robert had written it. He described her as the love of his life. Olivia read it in that diner over black coffee and felt something she later described as not quite satisfaction and not quite grief, but something that lived in the space between the two. She worked at that Atlanta diner for 3 years, quiet, reliable, exactly the kind of employee a small business owner does not ask questions about. She saved every dollar she could. She enrolled in night school under her new name. She got a qualification in bookkeeping. She moved to a different city. She built a life. 7 years after Olivia disappeared, a woman in Memphis named Clara went to the same shelter where Darlene worked. Clara was 31 years old, she had 2 children, she had tried to leave 4 times. Darlene called Olivia. Olivia drove back to Tennessee for the first time in 7 years. She sat with Clara for 6 hours in a back room of that shelter. She told her everything, every step, every detail, every mistake to avoid. Then she helped Clara become someone new. And Clara helped the next woman. And that woman helped the next. Investigators who eventually became aware of the network estimated that between 1989 and 2009 at least 47 women had successfully disappeared through it. 47 women who had been failed by every official system available to them. 47 women who had decided that if the system would not save them, they would save themselves. The network was never prosecuted, partly because prosecuting it would have required exposing 47 women who had escaped dangerous situations, and no district attorney wanted to be responsible for that. Darlene was interviewed once by a journalist in 2015. She was 72 years old, she had retired from the shelter. The journalist asked her if she felt what she had done was wrong. Darlene was quiet for a long time. Then she said, "I feel that what was done to those women was wrong, what I did was just arithmetic." The journalist asked her about Olivia. Darlene smiled and said, "She is fine, she is more than fine, she is exactly who she always should have been." Nobody knows where Olivia is today, what name she uses, what life she has built. But somewhere out there is a woman who died on a Tuesday and has been alive every day since. And I find myself unable to be anything other than glad about that. Drop a comment below. Do you think what Olivia did was wrong, or do you think she did exactly what she had to do? I want to know where you stand. If this story moved you, please share it, not for views, but because somewhere out there right now someone is sitting in a bus station with $60 and nowhere to go, and they need to know that other women have found a way. Hit that subscribe button so you never miss a story like this one. In the next video, a man received a phone call from his own number. The voice on the other end knew things only he could know, and it was not him. Make sure you are subscribed so you do not miss it.